As a consequence, we've been able to create Pakistan Digital Authority and National Digital Commission, latter being led by the Honorable Prime Minister himself, with the membership of federal ministers, and all 4 chief ministers, all the major regulatory bodies. But the idea is to truly create a digital ecosystem which has horizontal and vertical integrations. And that is how the Honorable Prime Minister, Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif Saab, envisages Pakistan to be in the next 5 years. And the progress on that is that we've already started rolling out with the help of NADRA digital identities. We're launching and piloting the National Data Exchange Layer. And on the financial payments side, RAST by the State Bank of Pakistan acts as our payment rail across the country. So these are a few things that are in order and that we're pushing for to truly make Pakistan digital. The idea is to eventually create a Pakistan stack, and within the Pakistan stack, our priority being the financial stack as one of the first 3 stacks that we'll be creating. And I don't need to elaborate on why this is so important. Digital payments, digital banking, essentially, and my colleague Bilal will elaborate more on the specific efforts that the Honorable Prime Minister is making, and Bilal is heading that cashless economy effort. But overall, talking about how the digital economy helps Pakistan, I'll give you just a very simple statistic. We're a $400+ billion economy, and our conservative estimates tell us that approximately 50% of our economy today might actually be informal. So the idea of the Prime Minister essentially is that even if we're able to, out of this another $400 billion informal economy, even if we're able to pull back half of it into the formal sector without any additional taxes, policies, regulations, or measures, our overall GDP grows by 200 billion. So that's the kind of power and potential digital economy holds. And that's what we're essentially aiming for. And all of these efforts, including that of Easy Paisa today, supported by Ant International, I think that's essentially what we're working towards. And that's the kind of digital economy ecosystem that we're pushing for. And as Ministry of IT, while digital transformation is one of our core agendas, we're also trying to facilitate the industry, and not just the tech industry. And I always say that tech is no longer a vertical, it's actually cutting horizontally across every sector. So tech in financial sector, I think Pakistan is, if you ask me, even within the startup ecosystem, what's one sector that we're thriving in? I would say Fintech is one place where we're very advanced. Our young entrepreneurs, our private sector has done wonderfully well, and Easy Paisa is a marvelous example of how Fintech is operating in Pakistan. And the whole support that the whole of government approach, including the SIFC, including the Prime Minister's office, the Finance Ministry, at the end of the day, the whole of that support is to ensure that the private sector today thrives in an enabling ecosystem. And the consequence is that over the last 4 years, we have seen tremendous export growth of the sector. So today, we received the export numbers for November, and I'm very proud to say that year on year, between July and November, the sector has shown almost 19% growth. We've already exported over $1.7 billion of IT and IT-enabled services. And I think a bigger number is that of that $1.7 billion, $1.5 billion is trade surplus, which is the largest trade surplus that any sector registers. It's 85% of trade surplus that any sector registers for Pakistan. So that's how the industry is growing. That's how we're supporting the whole ecosystem in a way. And as a policy, we have that the government has no business doing business. So we try to roll back as much as we can, and we try to create space for the private sector through easing out policies, to ensuring that the larger ecosystem. We're also actually thinking of changing the procurement rules. As you were telling us about, Douglas, you were mentioning how you're looking to digitally support the whole Hajj operations. So Honorable Prime Minister has given us a directive that end-to-end Hajj for every citizen that is going, especially through the public sector Hajj program, has to be digitized. So there's a lot of potential for collaboration on such efforts, and this is how we want to make sure that private sector really stays ahead. Lastly, I'll just very quickly talk about, as Ministry of IT, I think one of the core subjects that everyone keeps asking us about is connectivity. So we know that we have to financially include everybody. Pakistan is a large country, 240 million people, living across very diverse geography within the country. So in order to be able to really ensure that these services reach them and we have the true financial inclusion, essentially the underlying architecture is connectivity. And on all 4 layers of connectivity, we've just landed 3 new submarine cables in the last 1 year. But the bigger thing is that Honorable Prime Minister was able to remove the right-of-way charges, so we'll be very aggressively going into fiberization across the country with, again, aggressive targets of, even if I only talk about telecom towers, so increasing the fiberization from 14% to at least 60% of the towers. And last but not the least is our mobile broadband, which 98% of our population uses. Next quarter, hopefully, we will be having our 600 megahertz of spectrum auction, which will hopefully, and we will ensure, along with PTA and all the other regulators, that not only the 4G service is going to get at least 3x better, but we will also be introducing 5G within the next year to at least 7 cities in Pakistan. So that's where we support the industry. That's where we come in and make sure that the base layers of connectivity, of cybersecurity, of I'll also talk to you later about how do we integrate artificial intelligence into the whole system for better decision making and data analytics. But the whole cybersecurity, the whole trust paradigm, the whole connectivity layer is something that we like to support with, along with obviously easing out all the regulatory policy areas that you require of us. In the end, I would like to thank all the partners. Obviously, EasyPaisa is one that's operating, but our regulatory partners, State Bank of Pakistan, that's always there, Finance Ministry that's represented here, always there in support, SIFC, and last but not the least, the whole thrust, the whole direction and drive is coming directly from the Honorable Prime Minister, and that's what really makes things happen for us. So, really grateful to all of you for putting in your bits into the larger ecosystem to make it truly digital, to make it truly inclusive. And we're always here as Government of Pakistan to support your efforts. If there's anything else that we can do for you to make things easier for you, that's primarily what we're here for. So once again, thank you everyone. Congratulations to EasyPaisa and the Ant Group. And thank you for having us.